This Romeo is bleeding, but you can't see his blood. It's nothing but some feelings that this old dog kicked up. It's been raining since you left me. Now I'm drowning in the flood. You see, I've always been a fighter, but without you, I give up. I can sing a love song like the way it's meant to be. Well, I guess I'm not that good anymore, but baby, that's just me. And I will love you, baby, always. That's it.
That's it?
That's it.
We could do the whole show. Just do the whole album, man. I was waiting for Jordan to kick in.
I don't even know the lyrics.
Why didn't Jordan kick in?
Oh, I know the song.
I know, but he should. I was waiting for him to kick in.
I could have kept going.
I know.
I don't know the lyrics to that song. I know the song. But.
I actually just sang this to Danielle the other day, and she loves the song too.
Really?
Oh, that was a great opener. Thank you very much, gentlemen. I appreciate it, man. This is awesome. Welcome. I know it's been a little arm twisting to get you guys in here.
I was just being a little bitch.
I don't
know
made it
why.
Out,
and then I didn't even ask Jordan. I just sent him
the date,
and I said, Jordan, you ready or what?
And we talked about it last night, actually, or yesterday.
He ignored me all weekend because he didn't want to respond to it to confirm whether he's coming or not.
What was the fear? Like, why everyone is, I'll just be honest, everyone's nervous at first about getting on the mic. And then once we start talking about construction, it's all relaxed, man.
No, I don't think we were afraid. I just think we thought we just weren't ready. We wanted to have our website up and running and all that, just to validate who we are. But I guess our work will speak for itself on our social
exactly what's
accounts.
going to
we were
happen,
taking
right?
it too seriously, like have all the ducks in a row. And I said, you know what? This is all about just doing it. Getting comfortable.
Get comfortable. No, get comfortable and just leave the mic where you want to leave it. So then I get your audio, no problem. It's all good there, okay? So everyone, welcome. It's Assmbly without an E.
You got it.
Assmbly Inc. without an E, right?
You got it.
What are we going to talk about? I always joke. We're going to talk about tile, right? No. What are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about...
Whatever you want.
How do you guys label it? Home integration? Home...
I'd say we're primarily lighting.
Okay, lighting.
And home technology.
But lighting to a whole other level.
Custom,
this
linear.
Isn't,
so we're told, yeah.
This isn't a 60-watt bulb with a little chain pull on it. No,
you got it.
This is not... That's what we're talking
Definitely
about.
Not.
It's high-level lighting. Jordan's entire background is in lighting. A lot longer than I have
and
been
the
in
purpose
lighting.
behind lighting.
Oh,
The
you could
science,
start rambling.
the science,
You could ramble
the-
about
Don't
lighting.
get me started,
Get him
man.
started.
That's why I'm so interested in how this whole integration and how like lighting is massive, man. So I've got the film background too. Lighting is paramount to me when I got into construction, man. It's huge. And then you tell clients this and it's like a deer in a headlight, man.
Exactly.
They don't really understand it, but then they see it.
Our packages are not cheap. We are a premium product. We do very unique, cool stuff. To most people, it's like lighting. You go buy a $10 puck light, 4K. But there are some
That's
people...
not lighting.
That's not lighting. But our clients,
Slim,
the
yeah.
clients that we sell, $200,000-$300,000 packages, they already love lighting. They already appreciate lighting, so we're a good fit.
They get it.
And they see the value in it. But to somebody who doesn't see the value, it is a tough sell.
Or their interior designers will render out like an amazing space with all the latest and greatest, and they're like, okay, well, how do we achieve that look? How do we execute that? So that's when kind of a lot of people come to us.
That's your wheelhouse.
Exactly. Linear lighting specifically is where we shine. We do a lot of cool downlighting too. Human-centric systems we're tapping into now as well.
Wait, what is that?
Human-centric lighting taps into like your circadian rhythm. So fully tunable fixtures. So you got the whole white spectrum as well as RGBW.
Oh, we're
RGB,
we're
which is full
definitely talking
color.
about that, man.
Yeah.
And this is
Pretty
Ketra
cool.
lighting by Lutron.
So yeah, we picked up Ketra from Lutron because we believe Lutron is kicking some ass.
I gotta ask you guys. I want to get to the details. We're gonna get all that stuff. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I will. I usually do that. I saw somebody use a fake Lutron dimmer switch that looked like a flat airplane toggle on the side. What is that, man?
Flat airplane toggle?
It kind of, you know how Lutrons is just a little. Well, they've advanced it, but in the early days, it was just that one little toggle that goes up and down, right?
Oh, got it. The Diva.
Yeah,
Got
and
it.
that was way, what are you talking, like a decade or so ago, right?
Yeah.
But I saw one that had like wings on it. So it was that little toggle and then it had wings on top and bottom. Is that just a knockoff version of what's going
Probably
on?
like an accessory.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
Or-
Probably a different brand. Yeah.
It was just, it felt like it looked weird and it felt weird to me when I was grabbing it. And I was like, okay, but I deviate. So Assmbly, Assmbly Inc. You guys are the owners. It's on Instagram at Assmbly, spelled the same way, Inc. on Instagram. And then the email is info@assemblyinc.com. I've got Nuno on the left. I've got Jordan on the right.
You got it.
And we're going to talk about this whole integration and the lighting and all the other stuff. I want to let everybody know I'm wearing Ben's shirt, the Chase Contracting from out west. We did a show recently with him. I can't stop apologizing to him because I messed up by forgetting my laptop charger, and we ran out of power on the laptop, and we only had an hour-long show, but he's itching to get back on the show, and we're going to talk, and hopefully he can possibly convince his dad, who's just recently out of the business, to get on the mic so we can do another show with him, continuing the conversation about concrete forming out west, because that's fascinating. He brought up some really interesting points regarding trades and compensation and just the future of construction. So thank you for the tea. I appreciate that. Now let's get started with Assmbly, man.
Sure, definitely.
Where do we want to begin? Where do we want to start?
So yeah, like we said, I think we specialize in lighting. That's where it all started. But we're really like a full turnkey solution where we start off from the drafting, the AutoCAD, the draft work, lighting design, lighting control design, which is Jordan's forte. So we start off with the design. We supply and install all of our products, goods, and services, from custom architectural linear lighting, Ketcher lighting by Lutron, all kinds of lighting, whatever you could imagine. To some degree, we could achieve it. Jordan has a background in like DMX, club lighting and stuff, right? Which is very like technical stuff, which in residential, it wouldn't really apply. So we go from the lighting. We're also Lutron Homeworks dealers. So we're top tier. We have access to pretty much all of Lutron's products, which they do the lighting controls. They pretty much invented the dimmer. They are the pioneers of lighting control, and we're honored to be a part of that team. They make really good products. The company is structured very well. They have a lot of really nice products, aesthetics, and it just works. And I think that's their slogan, right, is it just works.
But where was the nucleus? Like, where did it all start, guys? Because you're in a niche, right? And you're in a upper echelon niche, right? Like
you're trying to, everyone
you got a
tries
certain
to be there,
clientele, right? Like when I start talking to any clients about upgrading this kind of stuff, they love it, they want it, they see the estimate, they walk away.
Of course.
It's very challenging, but they don't really see the overall benefit behind it. There's a lot of health and mental behind this all the stuff. But where was it the original for you guys? What was it that happened in your construction careers that make you guys go, we need to focus on this. We need to really build this up and work on this?
For me, it didn't really work that way. It kind of just happened. It was kind of an accident. COVID was kind of the driving factor for me to switch into residential. My primary space before COVID was a lot of hospitality lighting, nightclubs, commercial high-rise. I did some consulting in petroleum as well. So I used to do a lot of fixture development, specification design, worked with like Phillips on a few projects as well. And then I had a friend that asked me to work on his house, and during kind of pre-COVID, and just kind of stemmed from there. I kind of enjoyed doing residential. I love being creative. I don't like to stick to like, just putting in pole lights everywhere, and that's what kind of what commercial high-rise was. So I wasn't able to kind of explore my creative side. Then when I did a few residential projects after that, I kind of realized, hey, you know what? I can do whatever I want here. I have full creative control. I can influence the project to whatever degree I want, within a budget, obviously, at the time. And yeah, that's kind of how it started. And then ever since then, just been chasing the residential market. And it's been growing slowly, but it's been great. Nice. I'm happy with it so far.
And what about you? Where's...
Like this company?
Yeah. How did you get into it? I mean, you didn't start in lighting, right?
So that project that he's talking about that he did, a colleague of ours was the builder there. So I met Jordan on that job. From then, we've used Jordan on other projects. We kind of just became friends, like kind of hit it off. And the concept was there. The idea was there. I was never a technology guy. I was in construction my whole life, but the rougher construction. Like I've done bricklaying, roofing, concrete forming, done multiple renovations. I used to just do renovations before.
Work light. That's all you had. It was a work light.
I didn't know fuck all about lighting. All my renovations I've done prior to meeting
You went
Jordan,
from work light to like a halogen light to an LED work light.
Yeah, doing my rentals, I put in like a 4K
You went from
slim.
work light to a slim to...
It's a slim, yeah, it's a slim case, yeah.
Before I met Jordan, all my rentals, I used to think I was so cool putting in 4K slim puck lights. I thought I was so cool. I didn't know what else was out there in lighting. So, he opened up the doors for that to me. And just felt like there was something there. So Jordan was like a one-man show. So we'd hire him to do the projects. We would help out with the installation. We kind of just developed a friendship, and we worked together at a certain capacity. And then I see that he had a problem he needs solved, and I kind of had a problem which I just got tired of renovations because it's like everybody builds, everybody's in the trades. It's like a race to the bottom. Unless you do something very uniquely where you could demand your value, your worth, it's just tough. There's a million painters, drywallers, builders, guys who renovate, and it didn't fit for me. I just felt like I needed to pivot somehow, and I saw an opportunity. We solved each other's problems. We started working together. We officially launched Assmbly in March of 2021. So it's been under 2 years. And at first, I was skeptical because these systems and technologies, lighting, come with a heavy price tag. So before we invested too much time and effort, I wanted to test the concept. Well, to be honest, in this last year and a half, the concept has been tested well over. So now I'm like all in, fully committed, and it's been a journey.
The market embraced it.
It embraced it, yes. There is a demand for it, definitely.
And I agree with you. And I want to start with, listen, I'm not a fan of creating little pyramids of books and burning them and all this other stuff, but I wish that we could put a pyramid of Slims and burn all those things.
I agree.
We're on the same page.
I'll like the match with you.
I just can't. When they came on the market, I hated them. Electricians loved them, and I hated them. And it doesn't matter how many electricians I spoke to, they try to convince me and sell me on them and everything. I was like, you guys are not selling me. I hate these things. These things are ugly. You can't focus. You can't work with them. You can't direct them. You can't do. And then now, I guess recently they're pivoting now, so
they have the gimbaled ones.
Gimbal versions of the.
Oh, that's like a step up, yeah. But I mean,
they still need to be burned down as well. They're garbage. So when you guys are talking to a client and like you guys are doing lighting to a different degree, right? Where does it begin? Like, how do you guys start talking to your clients about lighting that understand the purpose behind this lighting?
That's a good question.
Up until now, we've operated pretty much word of mouth. So when people get brought to us, they're already looking for something. We work with architects, our friend Marin from Contempo Studio, designers. They're typically the ones bringing us in or making the connection. So their clientele already if you're hiring a designer and you're doing a high-end project, you kind of have a sense of the importance of lighting. So typically, it's not like we're doing a tough sell to the bottom. Typically, there's already.
But they're beyond. Okay, we need 12 pot lights here. They have to be exactly 3.5 feet away from the wall here, from the cabinet. They have to be lined up and balanced on it. Like, we're beyond that shit.
A lot of like Nuno said, these interior designers, they'll specify or put into the design or renders, let's say. A lot of it's conceptual renders, nothing too technical. And they'll do a lot of, they'll mix linear lighting with downlights and some pendants, chandeliers, stuff like that.
Are they doing Pantone markers and showing exactly cascades of like where the light is going? Are they going that extreme? Like, I mean, I would love.
In the renders, yeah. I mean, the renders are rendering everything.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. Nowadays, renders are getting a lot more photorealistic, more detailed to a degree, depending on the firm. But I think a lot of clients, what they do is they go on Pinterest, on social platforms. They kind of look at lighting. They look at the space as a holistic view, and they like linear lighting. It's very popular.
But do they understand that there's a little bit of photoshopping going on in these images that are?
I don't think so. No, not always. No.
But there is kind of a little bit of Photoshop going on in these images, right?
Tons of Photoshop. It's all computer generated.
Yeah. So when they show you the image and they have strip lighting, or they have accent lighting, they have detail lighting, all this other stuff, that image has been manipulated.
100%. Yeah.
But now you guys build it as per, present it.
We typically can get to 99% accuracy on a render if the budget's there.
I guess my question was more about the people that you guys are working with. What is it in their lives that they finally said, listen, I want lighting. I don't want a halogen bulb. I don't want a incandescent bulb. I'm beyond that. I want lighting that will give me what I feel like when I come home from work and I've had a bad day. What I feel like when I want to just chill out with the family and watch a movie. I want lighting, I want emotional lighting. That's what I'm assuming is you guys are going, like you're talking to clients that want emotional lighting.
I think it's more aesthetics. As you know, Canada's always the last one to the party. So in Eastern Europe, a lot of architects and inspiration that we follow from, Europe and Eastern Europe, they have tons of linear lighting, tastefully done. The lighting is very important. It's a critical part of these builds and renovations. And Canada is just catching on now. So we're kind of like at the forefront, I'd say.
Is it because of the price? Or is it supply?
I don't think it's price. I just think it's the market, right? A lot of the product in Europe, Eastern Europe, there's a lot of certification kind of hurdles. A lot of brands are.
How can we get around that? I'm tired of Canada saying we can't sell this product because it hasn't been tested.
It's not UL certified.
It's all crap. I can't stand it, man.
Yeah.
There's no way around that?
It's there for a reason. No, there is no way around it, definitely. If you want to bring a product in and it's high voltage, it needs to be obviously ESA, CSA certified. Sorry, not ESA, CSA certified.
CSA, yeah.
UL certified. But, you know, there are a lot of great products on the market now. Linear lighting, we specialize in that, but we are going to be launching our own linear lighting brand next year. So it's strictly linear profiles, aluminum.
Yeah.
And a lot of linear strip lighting as well, which is pretty cool.
The profiles themselves, are you guys offering a variety of different tones, or just drywall, mud in, things
All
like
different
that?
applications.
So
we
doing,
even custom develop, get 3D molds, develop our own.
Developed a few of our own already. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
We go right to the
So we do like flangeless, suspended, surface mount, do pretty much everything. We have about 400 plus right now, different profiles. So probably the biggest. We're going after some of the big guys, not to name any names, but we're going to be we'll probably have one of the largest selections.
Well, I mean, you guys are handling the products, so you guys are seeing if there's any faults or some things that are not working or could work better.
100%.
So why not come up with new ideas?
That's the great thing. Like, you know, like you said, we're designing, we're supplying, we're installing. So
which is key, because our competitors, they sell the product, but then you rely on electricians to install it. Unless the electricians have experience with low voltage lighting, they usually butcher it. But there are a lot of electricians, mostly in the commercial world, that do have a lot of experience with this kind of lighting. But then it's just more layers, more points of contacts, more trades to deal with, where we literally offer a solution in-house, take full responsibility, one point of contact. And to a lot of people, there's a lot of value in that.
Is there a stigma? Because I remember in the early days of linear lighting and having to deal with drivers, and if you didn't crimp or connect,
a lot could go wrong. A lot of it is...
And it just left a bad taste to a lot of electricians?
If a light goes out, you literally have to trace every connection, everything that could possibly have gone wrong.
Beyond that? Is that done, or
No.
is it still there?
That's craftsmanship. You got to know what you're doing.
Okay, all right.
And when you install, it's not just put it up and then, you know, the house is moving ready, then you turn everything on and something's not working, now the wires are behind the wall. It's like, we set up our tables, we test it before we solder it, before we connect it. We're testing every step of the way to eliminate human error. And if there's no human error, chances are it works. The warranties are good. The products that we use are good. A lot that could go wrong is human error.
I get it. I understand it. But I mean,
all of it that goes wrong is human error. I mean, the product is faulty. It's obviously going to fail over time, but we obviously replace it. And we make sure that the product is accessible and it is able to be
serviceable.
Replaced.
Are you guys having a hard time finding electricians that are a little more finesse? Because I'm assuming that when you're installing this kind of product, you got to take your rough wiring hat off and put your surgeon hat on, because it is a different world.
We handle the rough in, so we rough in all the everything on the low voltage side. We handle.
Wow. Okay.
And we'll even mount the panels. We install the drivers in the panel. Okay. Program everything, get it ready. We program the drivers too, because it's all done on constant current, not constant voltage.
One source. You guys are bringing it to one source.
Exactly.
We come in ideally before the electricians. We design the system, mount the panels, mount the drivers in the enclosures, do everything coming out of the driver to the light source. The only thing the electricians need to do is power up our drivers or our panels.
So just wire the Romex to the driver and that's it. And then we take care of the rest.
And you guys are factoring in all the math calculated for each
exactly.
driver, for
voltage
each source.
drop. Total load control.
How big are the drivers getting these days? I mean, I've watched them grow and grow and grow and still stay the same size. And
they're pretty small now.
But are they still getting
smaller than an iPhone?
Really? Huh?
Yeah, some of them.
Oh.
Yeah.
Powering how much can you get out of that?
I mean, based on code, you know, UL code, you can't go past 96 watts on a class 2.
Okay.
For constant voltage. So DC.
What's the reason behind that? Heat?
I don't really know. I never
electrical
dug
makes
that
up their
deep
own rules, right?
Never dug that deep to kind of find out.
Yeah.
Just kind of follow the rules and, you know, color within the lines. Not that I've never colored outside of the lines before, but that's a different story.
We all have, but we got back into the line and now everything's fine. That's all it is.
There's always a way around. I mean, if you need a high-powered driver box, you can definitely do that. You can build it based on ESA's kind of requirements. Go through eSafe and get a field evaluation done. Done that before in the past as well. So if we require, 500 watt driver enclosure, can definitely be done. But in a residential application, we don't really do that. The high
you wouldn't
watt
really need to do that.
Not really, no, because I mean the LEDs are getting a lot more efficient and the efficacy is getting higher. So the requirement for a high powered driver is going to eventually be a thing of the past. I think that's the way it's going.
Not just that, it's kind of the way that we install it. If you got like a 20-foot piece of linear track mudded into the ceiling, and let's say there's like 6 LEDs there, we're home running each light back to the enclosure where the driver is. So one of our lights that go on the track is about 26 watts. So just to keep inventory and everything simple, we just use the 96 watt Magnitude drivers. And Magnitude is USA made. It's North American, best drivers on the market. And we just work within those thresholds. So one driver powers 3 of those lights. If you have strip lights, then we just got to do the calculation and make sure that the wires are run correctly. It's a lot of strategizing. It's very strategic. Cables need to be in the right place. They need to be done properly.
I was just going to ask,
and we work
how do you home run the first run past all other 5 runs to get to the end point without building up so much wire?
Everything gets roughed in behind the drywall. We don't jump it or daisy chain it. We home run everything.
Oh, wow. So you actually have your light run, then you come out of the channel, go through the drywall, and go to your source for each strip?
So first we would box in the track. We'd run the low voltage cables, put them in the right place.
That's a lot of
Post drywall before mudding.
Yeah.
We would install the profile with the LED in, put like a sacrificial cover on the track so that it doesn't get full of mud. And then every light source would home run back to the enclosures where the drivers live. Then that's where we wire and calculate in.
Are we done with dots? Because I remember the same.
Oh, yeah.
We are.
Okay,
Yeah,
I was about to say,
not everybody.
I assume Assembly is.
Yes.
But I remember the same electricians having the same conversations about the slim lines going, oh, no, we got linear light for you. I go, I see dots, man, and I'm waiting for the Pac-Man to show up here. Like, I don't need to see dots. So we're done with dots now.
We are, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
We design our own LED linear strips as well. Some projects require a specific type of LED, color temperature. We can tune it in down to, our color temperature Kelvin, the CCT. We can do it in 100 CCT increments if necessary with our factory, which is pretty cool. So if a designer's requesting they have a light source from like InLight, right? For instance, your exterior lighting. InLight runs, I think their exterior lighting at 2790 Kelvin, I believe. And, we can tune it in, we can match an InLight product.
What's the magic number that designers and homeowners are asking for these days in residential?
27 to 35 is kind of the range.
Yeah, all right.
Mostly 3,000 though.
Okay.
Yeah.
So definitely on the mid-warm
Absolutely.
scale, right?
That's like soft white, yeah.
Yeah.
I call it soft white.
Which
Warm
looks
white,
nice.
I call it 27.
Now,
And then natural
but
would
your
be-
product, you can still write it if you wanted to, get to 4,000, get to a cooler blue if you wanted it to be that way? Like,
Yeah, we could do tunable as well.
okay.
We don't do a lot of it, to be honest, just because of budget constraints. When you get into the tunable lighting, price points are a lot higher.
And the drivers are different or everything stays the same?
Drivers are the same, yeah.
Same.
You just need a controller, kind of like a decoder, that will allow you to do tunable.
But I know that you guys
And you
are,
need a control system that can obviously handle it, right?
and you could control, it's all app enabled. Like you guys are setting up or source.
We use Homeworks, yeah.
Okay.
Use
that's
Lutron
what it-
Homeworks, yeah.
Got it. Okay. So then you,
I mean, Savant and Crestron, Control 4, they can all do tunable light as well. They all can. Pretty much most companies can. Advantage as well. So just really it depends what you want, what you're using. You have to specify the right products.
pre-program everything as well too.
Of course, yeah. Definitely test it first. But I think that's where it's going. I mean, the future of lighting is going to be tunable eventually.
It's pretty common now. You even buy these ceiling tile light fixtures. They're all tunable between 3,000, 35, 4,000.
Yeah, I mean, they're field selectable. You could select what color temperature you want, but.
So I want to go into some key rooms before. Hang on, let me do a little history in construction here, guys. There's no right or wrong here. There's no testing. There's definitely no cash prizes. All right, so just everyone's aware of that. Process to home automation, remote control invented in. When do you guys think it was invented, that remote control? And it was invented by the young gentleman. You might recognize his name, Nikola Tesla. 1898, he first invented a remote control.
Wow.
Used radio waves to control a toy boat. Home appliances. Between 901 and 1920, many appliances were invented, from the engine-powered vacuum cleaner to refrigerators, washing machines, irons, and toasters, still to use to this date. Now you can spend on, what is it, Smeg? Smeg is like a $500 toaster.
Yeah, I believe so.
What the fuck?
My wife bought me one.
It's toast,
Serious?
man.
Yeah, I have
it's
a black
toast.
Smeg.
If anybody would have one, it's you.
It's toast, man.
We only got it because it was matte black
Give
and
me a
matched everything in the
plumber's
kitchen.
torch, man, and I'll toast
When
it.
she bought it used, not used, sorry, on Kijiji, she got a deal on it. So
Kitchen computer in 1969, the Echo 4 kitchen computer was introduced. So that's getting closer. Microprocessors invented in 1971, the year I was born. It caused the price of electronics to fall dramatically when it started. Smart home was 1984. That's when it all started. The clapper. Remember the clapper?
Oh, yeah. Clap on. Yeah.
1996. That's when it was invented. Millennium House opened in 1998. It was a show home demonstrating how a home could be automated with computer controlling heating, security, and lights, doors, and gardens. So I wanted to go through rooms after rooms because we're so familiar, pots and electrician having this theory of thirds or whatever it is. Like, this is how you calculate where the location of pots are. I've always argued with electricians saying that I don't care what it looks like on the ceiling. I care about what the light source is doing to the surface.
Exactly.
That's where light goes.
Speaking your language.
In a perfect world, right? You have your floor plans, you have your interior design, you have your furniture laid out and selected. You would work with that, but that's not always the case. So I guess it's a fail-proof way of doing it. If you just grid the ceiling with light, you're going to cover light everywhere, right? It's a basic way of doing it.
That's a stadium way. If you want to light a stadium, that's what you do. You throw light everywhere.
I know, but a home is not a stadium. A home
exactly.
is a bunch of rooms with tasks.
Exactly.
And I'm really
every room has a purpose.
Yeah, bathrooms and vanity light. Like, I mean, I can't stand when a client says, sure, just throw the single bulb right over the mirror at the top of the ceiling, where it's like, what's it going to serve? Absolutely nothing. Doesn't make any sense, right? So you have to look at the purpose of the light and the purpose of the room.
100%.
So kitchens are critical, masters are critical, especially if it's a couple master and you have his and hers or his and his or whatever. You need to focus on where this light and the purpose behind it. We're starting to see a lot more light going into showers. I mean, at the beginning of my construction career, it was like one pot light in the middle of the shower, and then all of a sudden everyone would scratch their head. Well, they want a rain head. And I'm like, okay, this is pretty simple. 2 pot lights now. And you start going from that point, and you start figuring out, well, 2 pot lights cast a shadow over the rain head, and then you create problems. It's no different than trying to set up lighting like in this studio. You have certain lights that are hidden, like behind you, behind me, in front of you, and then a key source. Like, that's how lighting should be in your home. So when you do come home, you blink and you look at your house, and you're like, holy shit, it's Pinterest in here. It looks legitimately like Pinterest. And now I feel that's where it goes to emotional lighting. So where do you guys begin? And let's pick the toughest room right now, the kitchen. How does the lighting start in the kitchen with you guys?
Kitchen. Okay. Well, kitchen. You're right. It is a tough space because people spend a lot of time in their kitchen. They cook. That you require task lighting for that. Obviously, you need a lot of light for cooking.
And others Uber Eats, right? So
exactly. you entertain.
They display. Yeah.
So it's kind of like a multi-purpose room, I believe. So what we do is we typically, if there's an interior package complete already, we'll take a look at it. If we have an issue with it, we'll dissect it. We'll talk to the interior designer, suggest what we think would work best in the space.
Doesn't always go well.
No, not always.
That was my question I was going to ask, is how savvy are the interior designers getting to this? Because you almost seem like you have to design a lighting interior designer class.
Well, you got to hire.
Am I stupid to say that?
Typically, you hire a lighting designer, right?
Yeah,
it's a totally different wheelhouse. But interior designers, they do go to school, obviously college, university, whatever, and they study. They do get an introductory to lighting. That's for sure. They do have an understanding of light. Lighting designers kind of go a little bit further with it. But there are some interior designers that do a pretty good job. And we work with quite a few that we're pretty happy with it. We don't make too many suggestions or adjustments, but typically we like to have full control. So we ask for the architectural package. People actually usually hire us for design as well. We do that in house. So we'll do all the layouts. We'll ask for the furniture layout if there is one. That helps us kind of determine placement of the island, cabinetry, all that stuff. We'll design with the 3 layers of light in mind. You got your task lighting, ambient lighting, and decorative, right? Which is your chandeliers, your pendants, stuff like that. So with those 3 principles in mind, we will start the design process. Typically, we do 2-3 designs max. Usually, we hit the nail right on the head on the first iteration. Because like Nuno said before, a lot of clients come to us because they're looking for something specific, and they like what we do, and they come to us specifically, and that's what they want. So Works out pretty well.
Is there a 1, 2, 3 or 2, 1, 3? Because I'm glad that you brought up the 3 key lighting in any kitchen application, where it's you've got your main ambient lighting, you've got your pendant chandelier lighting, you've got your task lighting underneath the cabinets or what have you.
Of course.
Then there's a 4th or 5th or whatever, depending on your range, your cooking and whatever. But do you guys look at it as like a 1, 2, 3? One's more important than the other, or it's basically what you guys are designing for that situation? So if you're preparing food for a meal, this is where the lighting is going to be. And then when you're presenting the meal and everyone's eating, the kitchen's off to the side, it's toned down, and this is what the kitchen's going to look like. This is what the kitchen's going to look like in the morning. This is what's going to look like in the evening. You guys are thinking about all those little details.
100%.
And that's all contributing to the lighting design at that point,
You
right?
got it.
So how does it, okay, do you guys fight? Because you don't get into practicals, do you? When I say practical, I mean a pendant, like an actual fixture. Do you guys get into that world?
We don't specify fixtures, so decorative lighting we kind of stay out of it.
Okay.
Usually,
But you guys have to work around those.
We work
fixtures.
with it. Yeah, we incorporate it. We account for it.
Can I ask you guys a question? Because you probably have had many more conversations about this. At what height should a pendant be placed over an island?
Oh, depends on the pendant.
beam angle, right?
Depends on the pendant.
Beam angle.
What do you mean beam angle?
Like the beam angle of the light.
No, is it really about the beam angle?
Well, I mean, it depends on the pendant, right? The style, the type, kind of about the beam angle, how the light is shining, the light source in the pendant, if it's directional or if it just sprays light everywhere.
To me, when I look at it, it's more like a shower head, and you got to look at the couple and whoever's using the room. And if you got one person's 6'5" and another person's 5'1", like where do you put that pendant? Where is it supposed to go?
100%. Yeah, we definitely take into account obviously the homeowner's height and all that for sure. But
because the worst thing I don't like is you're at a home and you're entertaining and you've got this thing that's right at eye level blocking your view, and you got to kind of look around it, right? So just like, where do you put it? But if you put it too high, then it's not serving a purpose.
Well, I mean, what I might think is right, or what Nuno may think is right on a site, and what we suggest to clients is not always what they want, right?
Yes.
So sometimes we'll set a height, and I've had clients say, "Oh, it's too high. I want it lower." So they do want it in their field of view, right?
I don't like it.
I don't recommend that, obviously, like you said.
It doesn't make sense.
If you're entertaining in your kitchen and your island, you can't see, you're kind of looking around.
I
it.
think it should be
Doesn't
higher,
work.
right?
But I mean, it's personal preference, really. Like I said, it's decorative, right? It doesn't really serve much of a purpose.
Fixture.
It's just something to look at.
If it's like a massive industrial China hat or something like that, it's a huge cylinder or something, that's different. If it's a slim kind of thing, that's different. So you could probably drop it a little bit. But
100%.
Well, my logic is like you want to illuminate the table. You don't want to splatter light
and then
all around
you can't
it,
forget
right?
that.
So if it's
exactly.
like a 35-degree beam angle, there is a calculation to the height that it would cover just the table, where if you go too low, it'll be intense in the middle, right? You kind of want to disperse the light evenly on the surface that you're trying to light up.
That gets me thinking about, and I know that this is just new to the market, well, 5 or so, 6 years into the market, the illumination of countertops, right? So you're getting into ultra high-end onyx and transparent stones and shit like that. At that point, would you need luminosity coming from the ceiling if your counter's illuminated?
100%.
You'd still need it from the ceiling.
For sure.
You don't think that there would be enough luminosity coming from the bottom, or is everyone
It's gonna underlight, right?
Yeah,
It's not gonna get light from the top.
If you're reading,
So I mean, if you just had a slab of onyx on your kitchen island and it was backlit, right, and you're cutting some,
it's not
vegetables,
a practical light. It's just an aesthetic light.
It's just a glow. That's more of a decorative feature, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't provide any task lighting or anything. You wouldn't really see the color of the steak if you only had the onyx on. So you still need downlights or pendants or some sort of chandelier.
That's a very good point.
Right.
So where do you guys begin with your lighting then? So if you've got a typical kitchen, and let's say there's a perimeter, 3 sides, alcove kitchen, and there's an island right in the middle, 10-foot island or whatever, where's all the strip lighting going? What do you guys design? You're designing a C shape of a channel?
Pretty much, yeah, like a U shape. That's kind of been our staple. When we started with these smaller projects, we would do the track light like a U shape around the island, or a full rectangle. How far are you coming
off the cabinets? How far are you coming off?
We would center it between countertops. So if you got
Usually,
42 inches,
centered.
Okay.
If you got 42 inches between your stove and your sink, we would do it right in the center. And in that area, that's where a lot of the magic happens. We would put something with a higher output, more lumens, more luminosity, more task lighting. And then around the sides or the back, we would use our cluster lights that have less
just
light
pin spots, more for just ambient lighting.
Oh, okay.
Well, they're still very
Just do like a combination
powerful,
of two.
but
Yeah.
we would focus more lighting between the sink and the range.
So what's the magic number if you've got, I guess most new kitchens now are 9-footers, right? So what's the amount of luminosity or lumens that we need coming from a 9-foot height to get down in between a 42-inch space between cabinets and island? How much lighting do we need per square foot? Or is that, we got to bring out Siri and the calculator here. I don't know. Like, I'm trying to get an idea because I know that, you know, lighting packages now, which is great. It's almost like a pack of smokes now. They got all these little warnings. They tell you all this shit that this light does, the color temperature, the lumen count, and the wattage and everything like that. So it's like
most people don't care about that. I mean, you start talking.
But you guys have to figure that out.
Yeah, we care definitely.
Like that's important.
100%.
Because you could put something in, it's not enough light.
Exactly.
Or it's too much light. But too much light you can dim down.
It's always too much light, and people, depending on the client, they want it dimmed down. Nobody wants to be in a super bright house. Me personally, I don't either. So as long as it's dimmable.
Personal preference, but usually for our task lighting in our linear lighting or linear tracks, we do put a lot of light. Like we have a specific strip light that we designed for a light bar that goes in our track system, and that light bar is approximately about just under 5,000 lumens a meter. So it's quite a bit.
That's 24 watts per meter, 5,000 lumens.
Yeah, that one there. Yeah,
that's
it's
lot.
Bright.
That's
so it's very bright. So we designed that with that in mind, specifically, and it doesn't have a dot effect.
Never.
Right? Got you, man. You got you covered.
I hate dots, man.
No dots.
But so yeah, that's kind of our brightest chip. Sorry, our brightest linear light. And we're running that at 98 CRI.
Okay.
And we're using a Bridgelux chip, which is eliminates kind of the blue on the spectrum, the color spectrum. So a lot of people don't know that LEDs, and they've got a lot of blue on this blue light in the spectrum.
Like a halo, is it?
No, it's not the halo. It's not visible to the eye, but that affects your wellness. Your sleep pattern, it throws your circadian rhythm off. So that's kind of where like tunable light fixtures now kind of why people are kind of going that route. If you understand it,
Jordan, tell people why this is important, because I don't know how old you are. You're probably a few years younger than me, but I started learning it about 10 years ago, and I started realizing that it actually is true. This isn't fucking monkey business. Like, this is actually affecting your body.
Well, you have this whole campaign now with your phones. You could turn off the blue light at nighttime, right?
Yes.
So it is real. There is science to it.
Of course, yeah. So just like your phone, right? You got the ability to go into night mode or whatever you want to call it, right? Blanketed kind of statement. With LEDs, it's the same thing. Your screens are LEDs. Being exposed to too much blue light, is bad. It's not that it's bad for you, but it has adverse effects on your body, your mind. So your brain's affected by light. It affects your moods. Kind of everything that you do day to day. If you go into an office space, right, they usually have a high Kelvin, 4,000 to 5,000, typically. And that's just to energize you, keep you going, keep you working, trucking away. 100%, so do I. So that's typically it, right? You want to use a high Kelvin to kind of keep you energized, keep you going throughout your workday. And then, in the evenings, you kind of want to wind down. You want to warm up the space. You want to tap into, your 3,000s, your 27s, and even get as low as 22, 2,000, late evening.
Yeah.
Now imagine if you have kids. So let's say you go and you install, 50.
Sugar plus 5,000
you're going to install.
They're not sleeping.
You're going to install 200 slim pot lights at 4,000 Kelvin throughout the house.
So
right?
no more NyQuil. We just use lighting.
Exactly.
Is that what we're talking about here?
100%. Yeah. I mean, believe it or not, living under, a human-centric lighting system in your home, it will help you put your kids to sleep.
But people don't even realize it. Eh?
No, they don't, because it's not mainstream, right? It's not talked about.
I'm actually very curious. So Lutron's Ketcher lighting, like I want to actually put them in my house. I just haven't done it yet because there is a price tag to that. But light, you want to mimic the sun, which is the natural purest form of light. So in the morning, the skies are orange, right? High noon, everything's very bright. The sun is directly overhead. In the evening, the sky starts getting warm and orange again. You kind of want to follow that natural cycle.
Best thing I ever did in my own personal home, and I try to push it onto other clients as well, skylights. On our longest
100%.
days in the summer, sun is coming up at 5:30. That glow, that ambient that naturally comes through the skylight is so beneficial to your body, man.
Yep.
100%.
Vitamin D.
And there is a massive difference.
Natural light is the best light source.
I've got 4 skylights in my house, one in the hallway, one in each bathroom, and then one in the closet. There's so much natural light coming through, and I love it. I really appreciate it. It's a huge health thing.
Oh, yeah, you can't beat natural light. I agree.
So it's funny that you say that.
I'm
but you're
vitamin D
mimicking
deficient, and
Really?
I'm sure everybody is.
Oh,
I go through my
anyone
phone.
living in Canada, yeah,
Yeah,
everyone's
it's true.
vitamin D, yeah.
Most people are vitamin D
Yeah.
deficient with the lifestyle, living in the city, just the whole way of life that we have now in Toronto. And yeah, you want to get as much of that natural light as possible, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, having a tunable system in your own boosts your, it helps with your melatonin levels, your mood, your sleep cycle. So all those things, people that suffer from insomnia, maybe it's because you're at work all day and you're under a 5,000 Kelvin troffer.
It
all
might
day,
be.
right?
It might
that could be the
contributing.
case, right?
You're spending
So-
8 hours there.
Exactly.
5
I
days
mean,
a
a lot of
week.
people work from home now, right?
Yeah.
So, sometimes if you're working from home, a lot of people are doing now. Maybe they have 2,700 Kelvin downlights in their home. Very warm. It's not ideal for a full work day. Just want to bump up that Kelvin, right? Keep you energized, keep you going. You don't have to drink as much coffee anymore. So these are like little things you can think about. So we're going to be talking a lot more about that. We're going to be obviously promoting a lot more human centric. We lead with fully tunable fixtures. So when we design a home or a system, we're proposing fully tunable right off the bat. So we kind of hit our clients with like a big ticketed number, all the bells and whistles, and then we work our way back.
Do the clients understand where you guys are coming from, or are they just
Not always.
no?
But
Because there's a lot of science behind it,
we
man.
we love to show clients what's possible, right?
Yes.
Like these are the possibilities.
You'd be
This
doing
is-
them a disservice.
we
if
shoot
you
for the
don't.
moon, right? We shoot for the moon with every client. We say, hey, here's a $500,000 project package. What do you think? Like, pff, they're blown away.
Of
Like,
course.
this is a lot of money.
Yeah.
We have some builders that come to us and say, the budget's like $30,000 for the lighting. I said, okay, no problem. Just give us some FaceTime with the client. Let us present some products and services, and let's see what they think. And we present it to the client, and all of a sudden their budget goes from $30,000 to $200,000, $300,000, $350,000.
I always find that it's like
Right?
that.
Because unless you show them what's possible,
Yeah.
they're not going to know.
Here's the
Starts,
truth. Builders never put a line item for low voltage or lighting. Rarely ever, to
No,
be
they
honest.
never
I mean,
do.
some
They
some
never
do. I
And
mean,
for
I've seen
builders
some.
to push us and endorse for us, we're just adding more work to them. And if they're not billing that accordingly, they don't want to deal with the headache. They rather just get their electrician to put some slims up.
But we're very self-sufficient. We self-manage, right? So typically a lot of builders have a good experience with us because we handle everything from A to Z, which is nice.
So we hear that a lot. Like, there's no budget for that. Well, give us some FaceTime with your clients, because they probably don't even know that this is an option. They probably don't even know what's out there.
What's
and
out
if they
there.
value it enough, they'll find the budget for it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and if they don't understand it, what we typically do is we'll set up a meeting with Lutron at their experience center. We'll take them out, spend some time.
They have a
Have
showroom
you ever
here?
been?
No, I haven't been.
We'd love to bring you
I
there.
want
It's
to
in
go
Markham.
there. I want to check it out, man.
Yeah, so we do that. Unfortunately, they don't have their fully tunable fixtures there on
Do
display.
they have like a big toggle switch right when the door when you enter? Is that one of those ones? Though?
They got a lot of keypads there, though, definitely.
I'll be disappointed if I don't see a toggle or like the two dots, man. Go
The
European
legacy
style.
ones, I'm sure they have them. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, like I
No,
said,
I'm talking about the old 70s, and I want it to be almond color. Like I want that regular.
They probably
you want
have
that-
them.
you
They
want that
probably
beige
won't be
toggle?
Yes,
functioning.
they have those
I
on.
want-
They have
I
those on
want that
display.
one.
Are they functioning?
I don't think so. No, they just
Probably
have like
not.
a timeline of the evolution of the
lineage,
dimmer.
the lineage.
That's
Yeah.
what I would love to see because
is pretty cool.
It's pretty funny, man.
A lot of people don't even know that Lutron created the dimmer, which is pretty cool. But but yeah, you can get all, the whole experience there. Unfortunately, they don't have the fully tunable fixtures there on display, but they're working on that. We're going to be opening our own showroom with fully tunable fixtures as well.
When you
which
guys
is
planning
nice.
on having that ready?
Probably up and running. Hopefully, I mean, conservatively by end of next year.
Okay.
If
We're still trying to find the right location, the right
Exactly.
spot to do it. But we have all the products, everything pretty much ready to go. It's just finding the spot. That's why we took an interest to your place here.
Yeah, to check it out. It's a good space, but I want to finish up with the kitchen. How do you guys handle your task lighting, under cabinet lighting? Where does it get positioned? How far away from the back or how far away from the front? And what happens when they choose a hood that has lighting that does not match? And also what happens when they want Edison bulbs in their pendants that don't match? Like when clients don't see color temperature not matching the moment you actually energize everything. Then they see, holy shit, it doesn't match.
We have a conversation with the client beforehand.
Okay.
Yeah, so we tell them we're going to specify everything, including your lamps for your pendants or chandeliers. So we tell them we'll take care of that for you.
What if they're diehard and they want that Edison old style bulb?
That's no problem. We can match it.
You'll be able to
We'll
match it. So you
100%.
just adjust your lighting to that bulb
Exactly.
temperature, right?
Exactly.
Have they gotten savvy enough that they can fluctuate the temperature on those bulbs, or no? They're a fixed color, aren't they?
Well, the thing is that every manufacturer is different, right? Like if Philips uses their LEDs for their bulbs.
Yeah.
Then you got Cree, they have their own chips. Cree makes their own chips.
Yeah.
Then you've got like other brands that use all different types of chip manufacturers. Every chip is made different. You can't take a 3000 from a Philips chipset and then take a Cree 3000.
It's different.
It's gonna be slightly off.
Yeah.
But to the human eye, typically you can't really tell. So give or take, it's pretty accurate. I mean, if you took a photo, you might be able to notice a slight difference. But usually you got to be around, at least 500 to 600, 700 Kelvin difference to kind of notice. Maybe in 200-300, depending on your eye.
It'd be harder to notice.
Exactly.
We would notice, but
100%.
everyday people wouldn't notice.
So yeah, I mean, back to task lighting. I mean, we use a linear light for under cabinet, obviously. Yeah. We developed a micro LED, which is only 3 millimeters wide. And we're using like little tiny micro
What's the depth
LEDs.
of it? What do you need to?
1/4 inch.
That's it.
Yeah. So we developed a profile to go with it as well.
The diodes are very close together to avoid the dotting effect.
Yeah, they're literally about
tiny.
They're under a millimeter.
And how much light are you getting?
So on your projects that you've done and the electricians put the under cabinet lighting, it's probably like 3/4 to an inch
19
wide.
mil.
Ours is
19
4
mil.
millimeters. It's very sleek. All of our millwork lighting, that's typically what we use, and it's a lot sleeker and aesthetic.
What's the housing look like? Do you guys have a
They're
lift?
profiled for it as well, yeah.
Really? So it could be profile for any-
Profile 6 millimeters wide, but the LED that goes in is 4 wide. Yeah. So that one there, we get about 984 lumens a meter.
That's a lot.
So we're competing with the
when you're only doing
standard
18 inches, right?
100%.
Those are great for floating
It's good
shelves.
enough.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people overlight cabinetry too, under cabinet. They're putting in like, 15, 1600 lumens a meter, which is a lot. You don't want to overlight it because you don't want to drown your backsplash with light. It takes away from the texture, the color of the backsplash, right? So we just light it just enough.
Under cabinet is
So we-
not task lighting.
Exactly.
It's ambient lighting. It's just
Well, I mean, it is task lighting too. I mean,
to a
it serves
degree,
purpose,
right?
Yeah.
It's more about
Dual purpose. For
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, it's more if you have light above your upper cabinets, the beam angle on that is going to cast a shadow on your countertop,
Yes.
right? So that's why you put the under cabinet light to uniformly illuminate your countertops.
Exactly. So we look at the the width of the cabinet, the depth of the countertop. We also look at the backsplash. So we typically go not too far off the wall, but a little bit off the wall, so we cover and get nice uniform light, like Nuno said, on the whole countertop.
Oh, so you guys
right?
aren't going that center in the middle.
Not always, no.
You're favoring closer to the back, to the wall.
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay.
Because depending on the backsplash. If it's a dark backsplash,
You want to close.
dark surfaces absorb light. They don't
Yeah.
reflect it. So if it's a white backsplash, we'll go a little bit closer because it'll reflect off that white backsplash.
Yeah.
Or that that finish or that stone, and it'll obviously give you some illumination on the countertop, right? So taking into account the color of the finished surfaces, that's key as well. Even with lighting design on the ceiling as well, considering the color of the walls and all that's going to determine placement of the light in our designs. There's a lot of factors to obviously keep in mind and kind of strategically place the lights where they need to be.
And the pin lighting, where would you guys start recommending throwing some pins, or would you recommend throwing pins in a kitchen application?
We don't do that. We do
No?
mostly linear.
Mostly linear, right?
Oh, we do. Our linear lights do have pin lights in them. They have the clusters. So
Okay.
it's like just a bunch of little LEDs. Kind of
I know, but I know
together.
that I've seen from at your place, whatever, there was the little accents. I mean, that they're nice. They have that. You can see it. You can feel it on the surface. You see it off the wall. Would you entertain any
You're
of
talking
that?
about the track light?
Yeah, I was talking about the
Yeah, those are the clusters in our
So that's
track.
what it is, okay.
But our profiles that we use for under cabinet or millwork is a lot thinner, and it's just a strip. It's a light bar.
Yeah, we don't put any
essentially.
pin lights in. Are you talking about pucks? Under
Yeah,
the
just
cabinet?
actual small mini.
Yeah, we don't use pucks
don't
at
do
all.
that.
You don't do any of that
No,
stuff.
no.
But then
Other
I
than-
thought I saw. Didn't you guys have like literally like a 1/4 inch or a 1/2 inch pin light or something, like an accent in the corners, or no? Am I?
No, that's our reveal lighting. That's like around the perimeter
Yeah.
between the ceiling and the wall.
Yeah.
It's the same. It's a very narrow profile 1/4 inch, and it gives you like reveal perimeter.
Kind of
light.
simulates like a cove, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's like a negative reveal.
It's actually pretty cool. It looks
And we
right
integrate
into the
LED into
ceiling.
it. So we just developed a new one. Actually, it's a little bit of a bigger opening aperture, if you want to call it.
Yeah, we developed that one because before we were using the profile before the drywall and then terminating the drywall with a D200,
Yes.
like a Trimtex.
Yes.
So we developed one that has a mud flange on the wall and on the ceiling. So it just comes out a lot straighter and nicer.
And then we developed a
product.
second one that just has a mud flange on the ceiling if you have a tiled wall
Millwork or finished
or a
surface
finished
going
surface
up against it.
or paneling, stuff like that.
All right. So moving along to the master bath now. How do we light the master bath? And
Oh.
it's two couple. and you've got standalone shower, you got a standalone bathtub, and you've got 2 vanities, makeup station, and now you've got I don't know, three mirrors, I guess, because one for the makeup station.
Well, first, we also do illuminated mirrors. We work with our glass company, and we kind of develop
integrated it into the mirror.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
so
do it ourselves, and we do like the mirror would be mounted with magnets, so that way it's serviceable. If the lights ever fail or if there's an issue, you could remove the glass.
What if you want a medicine cabinet behind it or storage space?
Well, then you're shit out of luck.
We'd have to go back to the drawing board and figure something else out.
Go to IKEA.
Everybody wants to open that up. I've always
Not
made
really.
It.
You
Yeah,
don't really see that.
No,
I even got
we
into
never-
People
we
want
never
illuminated
requested that.
mirrors, but they want the mirror to be flush with the drywall. Well, that's not possible. So
No,
people
no,
don't
I'm-
want it to project.
I'm going into the wall.
You're recessing it.
I'm recessing it. So then the
sure.
mirror still looks like it's flushed on the wall. It's tight. But then you open it up and you get all this storage space hiding.
I'm sure if someone ever asks us to do a medicine cabinet style mirror, we'll figure it out.
now, one of our clients have done that on the project. Yeah,
So where do they keep all their stuff? They like go to the
custom
cabinet?
built millwork.
That's all it is.
These are typically bigger houses, higher end homes, so they have storage.
So how would you light this room?
Typically, if it's a floating vanity, we underlight the vanity. Always rule of thumb. Do an illuminated mirror 100%. We do some.
Are you illuminating the mirror on the 2 sides or you perimeter?
We do all. It doesn't matter which. It depends on the client.
Whatever the
So
client
do
is
front lit. We'll sandblast them. Get the mirror sandblasted. Then we apply kind of like a film or maybe some sort of kind of milky opaque acrylic on the back. So we laminate the back side of the mirror.
To
Are you-
diffuse the light. Yeah.
Are
Diffuse the
you
light.
throwing that on a separate switch that you can increase?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
So typically the vanity and the mirror, we use the same LEDs, same light output. So they match. Put that on the same, let's say, load, same dimmer. And then we'll do, showers. What do we typically do? I mean, it varies.
We could design a bathroom anyway with the lighting.
A lot
We've
of
even
time-
done around a bathtub on the floor, recessed into the tile. We'll have an aluminum profile lighting up from the
Curved
floor.
bathtub or a square bathtub?
Square. We did a couple of squared. Curved.
Square.
We're designing a curve now. We're haloing around the tub.
I mean, if they
So it
water
illuminates
jet
off
the
tub.
tile with a nice curve and do it properly, yes, we have strips that could do
You
a
have
curve.
a flexible channel that can go along.
Yeah, we have a silicone. We have a lot of silicone profiles as well. Can be integrated into tile, stone.
We haven't done that yet, but we've done it along the perimeter beside a
they're
bathtub.
water
waterproof.
resistant or
IP68. Yeah.
Okay, so what is it? How much does it recess above the tile surface?
Flush.
It's flush.
Flush,
And then when you say silicone, what are you saying? The actual housing is made out of silicone, or
Yes,
you guys
silicone.
and then it just sits there.
3-sided white silicone, and then obviously the illuminated side is just got a kind of a opaque kind of finish.
and
Diffuses the light.
then the laborer doesn't have to come in with a caulking gun with DAP on it and just seal it all up.
No,
No,
we
it's
put a little
sealed,
bit of adhesive in it.
Well, that
Sits
depends
in
on the
there.
tile guy. If he gets it water jet and done properly, if it's a
Then
little
it's
bit butcher,
sealed
then,
perfectly.
then you'll be the one putting the silicone, not us.
But you can leave water on it and it's
Nothing
fine.
happens.
Yeah,
no.
it's dipped in resin. So all of our lights that we use on the exterior or high humidity areas are dipped in a resin, which protects the LED.
Yeah, we could do any IP rating, right? So depends on the application.
This is fascinating, man. So you could basically, I guess it just depends on what you creatively want. So if you wanted a curve, you could do a circle. You can do a circle, I guess, cut in the mirrors.
If the client has a good budget and they want us to get creative, we could design some really cool shit.
Yeah.
If they have a designer and they seen a bunch of pictures on Pinterest and here, how do we achieve this? We'll make it
We'll
happen.
figure it out. We'll do it.
We're very versatile in that way.
I know like 15 years ago, Kohler introduced the whole chromotherapy with the lighting,
Yeah.
and they had that whole range where it just changed color temperature, and it was supposed to help you with your mental, and it contributed to that whole thing.
100%.
Are people asking for that? Are they asking for color, or is that a little
No.
too much in the house?
Not really. We've had some clients in the past. I have, and with Assmbly, that ask about a few that asked about color, but no one really pulls the trigger on it.
I don't know if it will last. I don't know if it actually contributes to helping your mental status, or I don't know.
I mean, the fully tunable on the white spectrum definitely helps your mental
Yeah,
status.
but that whole color stream where it's going
color's
purple,
just for.
magenta, yellow.
I mean, color's just to set the mood. It's for ambience, right? So if you're entertaining, you put on some color, do some pastel colors. It looks cool. And then again, the Ketra.
So the Catcher lighting by Lutron, it's fully tunable, color adjustable, everything, the works. We always pitch it first to the clients, obviously, because it's a great product, but you need to experience it to believe it. So we were just in New York, Manhattan, for a Lutron spec trip, and they have 2 showrooms in Manhattan where they have all of their Ketra lighting displayed in a setting that's supposed to mimic like, a house, a residence. And you could be in one room and you could have artwork and plants. just the way the lighting is designed using the Ketra lighting, you could make that room feel like 10 different environments. The way you set the color, the vibrancy, the way it's used.
I totally believe it.
It just really, really changes the vibe.
And your mood.
And it's hard to explain. You have to experience
Emotional
it to
lighting,
feel
man.
it.
Exactly.
I
And
know.
wellness.
And that's why now we're talking with Lutron. It's like, this is when the kick in the ass was like, hey, we really, really need to do a showroom here and put in the Ketra so that our potential customers, clients could come in and feel it.
Once you feel it, you're sold.
Exactly. So we
100%.
actually brought one of our clients with us on that spec trip. We closed the deal with her. First, we initially proposed the Ketra lighting. They shot it down because of the price tag. We brought her
way-
with
way
us
over
to
their
New
head.
York, and she loved it. She said she wanted it. She came back. She's like, I know I said I didn't want it before. I want it now. Unfortunately, it was already too late in the build. They were getting ready for drywall, and they didn't want to go backwards. But had we brought her there first when we were selling them,
Would've been sold.
she would have done it.
Yeah.
And
How
that's why
expensive are
now
we talking about here? Like crazy 6 figures?
If you want to do, well, just put it this way: Ketra downlight, they range from 600 plus per pot light up to 1200,
yeah.
depending on the trim. I mean,
That's
MSRP, of course.
That's
Yeah.
expensive.
It's not cheap. And also you would need the processors, the panels, the whole
controllers,
system
yeah.
to control it.
Keypads.
So a 3,000 square foot house.
You would use it strategically. It's really cool. Like I'll send you some videos.
Yeah,
like if you have artwork
Yeah.
and you use the Ketra lights with the vibrancy effect, it does some really, really impressive stuff.
That's kind of where Ketra shines. So if you're an art collector, you have collectibles.
You definitely want
So
to.
you don't
Ketra-
need picture mounted fixtures anymore. This will actually pull that off for you.
100%.
Really?
100%.
And it's not
do
too
a- you do a
high.
res- no, you do a recessed, they call it, it's a downlight that they have, and they have a wall wash trim
the aperture.
available with wall wash optics. And what happens is with the Ketra, if you shine it on a piece of art, it actually creates like an HDR effect on the art.
Yep.
So it brings out all the primary colors. So if you go from like a blue or a magenta or like a green, depending on the art,
enhances
it enhances those colors. So it makes the art kind of look
What did you guys
3D
say
and
again?
pop.
$1,200?
MSRP.
Fuck, man, that's expensive.
It's not for everybody.
That's what.
I mean, I know exactly what it looks
It's not
like.
what we sell it for typically, but
No, but that's it's still up there, man.
100%. But I mean, again, it comes down to the lighting design. I mean, if you have a 3,000 square foot home, typically an electrician will put 100 to 150 pot lights in there.
Typically.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
we
10
typically
$10 a pot.
and then when we come into the picture, we go from 100 to 150 down to 60, 70, 80 pots.
You don't need
Max.
all those. Yeah, you don't need
Max.
them all, man.
I mean, we've taken some designs and we go from, like I said, 200 pots down to like 80, 90 pots.
And on top of that, you want to use the Ketra lighting strategically, right? Like an entertaining area, kitchen, living room. You'd probably want to use a master bedroom, artwork. If you have like an indoor garden or nice plants, colorful plants, you probably want to spotlight those because the vibrancy effect will really make them pop. So
Yeah, so we do like a hybrid system. We'll do Ketra in the kitchen, living room, maybe the rec room, theater, master suite, master ensuite. And then everywhere else would do another Lutron downlight called Fineri.
Okay.
Fineri 3-inch.
which would match. If all the lights are off, the trim, everything could look identical. Just the
full
technology
spectrum.
from one light to the other would be different, and obviously the price tags would be different. But Lutron thought that out very well, where it'll match.
Because they know homeowners can't afford,
Exactly.
but they want to tease you. At least do one room and you'll appreciate
Yeah, do the rooms that you spend most time
the
in,
key
right?
rooms.
You're
Yeah.
not going to do it in a guest bedroom.
I'll
You're
be
never
honest, we sell the product, but until I went to New York and I experienced it myself, I wasn't totally sold. Or I didn't see the value in the price tag, but after going there, I definitely, honestly and truly see the value in it. And
When I mentioned to the new official originally, he kind of laughed. He's like, "How are we going to sell that, man? Come
yeah,
on."
who the fuck is going to
Fucking
pay
Well,
for that?
there's people out there that would buy that.
100% there are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? They would buy it for sure. I want to do a bedroom now. So boys and girls bedroom. How would you guys light that room now?
Oh, we would do Ketra.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Clients typically don't spend the money in the kids' bedrooms. They just put pot lights. We'll do tracks and linear lighting everywhere else. Bedrooms, closets, shared
What's really cool,
bathrooms
too, is, like,
kind
the-
of get neglected.
the other downlights from Lutron called Fineri, they have a warm dim feature on it, right? So as you dim up, it gets the CCT goes a bit higher.
Yeah.
Goes to like 3,000 Kelvin 35. You dim it down, it starts to get warmer and warmer and warmer. So the Ketra and the Fineri together combined in a space, the Ketra is able to mimic that warm dim as well. So like Nuno said, aesthetically, you look up at the light, the trim, they all match. But he said the chipset, the technology is different.
It doesn't look like you cheaped out in these areas.
Exactly.
Yeah, it continues the same aesthetic.
So the only time you'd really use the color, let's say you have a piece of art on the wall, in the middle of, let's say your grand room, on a wall, let's say off to the right or the left of your TV, that one Ketra downlight could just be, enhancing those colors on your art piece. Everything else could be warm white, and then in your kitchen you could have color.
Yeah.
So what's really cool about Lutron is you can rezone all the lights whenever you want on the fly, right?
Through the automation of it.
Each light is digitally addressable.
Each light is digitally addressable.
Every single light, you guys will set it up that way.
What is it? One electrician could daisy chain 128 pot lights throughout the house on one circuit.
And you can control
each light fixture is digitally adjustable. So if this room you had 10 pot lights, we could do each pot light.
Well, the Ketra, you can actually daisy chain all of them with one Romex, one loop of Romex.
I think it's up to 128, right?
The Fineri, you can do 60.
Is that right? Like you can literally connect
100. Yeah, from the first floor to the second.
So you go from the breaker panel.
And ESA is completely fine with that?
100%.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, honestly, I haven't come across any issue with ESA for that, no. But then again, we haven't sold 128 Ketra pallet lights to date. So.
But you can go that far.
100%, yeah. You can daisy chain all the Ketras. The Fineri is a little bit different.
Well, obviously, the electrician would have to do his calculation for the amperage that it's drawing, but for the technology and communication, you could go up to, I think, 128.
Yeah, so the Ketra lights are wirelessly communicate to the system. So it's all wireless tech built in.
And so it's connected to a modem, or it's connected to...
It's connected to like a gateway, they call it. A gateway/processor.
And that's where I was getting.
So what's cool about Ketra too is, right, the controls are built into each fixture, hence the price tag. So you don't need a control panel with a bunch of control modules.
So what's the price of the Ketra versus the other one that...
Like the Fineri?
Yeah.
Fineri ranges too.
How high does it get?
Half the price.
Okay.
On the high end.
So there's still
So you did flangeless trims.
Yeah.
Obviously flangeless is more costly. Flangeless stuff is like $700 to $800. And then non-flangeless obviously goes down from there. But again, it depends on the trim, the finish, the type of material. They have all different options.
So what would you guys use in closet applications? Because early in my construction career, we didn't put lights in closets. And then I was like, this is dumb. Why are there no lights in closets? I'm talking about just single door opening, 2 foot deep closet. What kind of lights are you throwing in closet? What kind of lights are you guys throwing into built-in millwork? Because I'm assuming that, like the nice thing that most builders would do is one slim on the very top, and then there's solid shelf, and darkness.
We always push the millwork lighting. It looks awesome.
But you're doing strip lighting in every single one, and it basically becomes a wire just coming out of the back of it, and then you just put the whole unit.
A wiring mess, yeah.
What are you guys doing for closet applications at that point?
We do a linear light under usually the shelf or right above the rod, the clothing rod.
Yeah.
Vertical on the walls.
Yeah, maybe the walls sometimes.
Well, one of the closets we're doing now, it's a master walk-in closet on an active project, and we're actually putting like a surface-mounted, it's called our infinite track system, surface-mounted around the skylight. So just strategically, depends on the size of the closet, how you're doing it.
I love it. I'm going to take, a little bit of OBC talk, guys. You ready for this, man? Resistance to forced entry. Swinging entrance doors must have both a deadbolt lock with a cylinder of 5 or more pins. That's part of the code, you know that, eh? Like your doors. I guess fire rated doors and everything like that.
Deadbolts?
Yeah. You have to have a secondary lock. You can't just be a single lock on it, right? If attached to a wood frame, the strike plate must be attached. So you have that secondary strike plate with wood screws penetrating at least 30 mil. What's 30 mil?
Inch and a quarter?
No, it's longer than that.
25.4 mils is 1 inch. So 30.
Oh, you're right. It is 1.25 inches. Wow. I thought I use 3 inch all the time. I go right to the frame, man. You'd have to beat the shit out. If anything attached to a metal frame, the strike plate must be attached to with a number 8 or greater machine screws, at least 10 mil. So that's just a basic. A bolt through 25 mil, solid hardening, free turning ring or beveled cylinder housing. That's the standard. We know that. Swinging wooden entrance doors to dwelling units must be solid core. That's where all the fire rating thickness, 45 mil. Hinges must be attached to wood doors, wood frames, at least 2 wood screws. Hinge penetrating at least 30 mil, and 2 metal doors and metal frames with number 10 or greater machine screws with at least 10 mil. 10 mil long? That's like the half
centimeter.
Inch? Yeah, it's a centimeter, man. Wow.
3/8.
It's not much, man. That's the standard, so that's a minimum. I want to get talking with you guys, so everyone that's listening to Assmbly with no E, it's ASSMBLY Inc. That's where you'll find them on Instagram, and also email is info@assembly, spelled the same way, inc.com. Speaking of Nuno, sorry, Nuno and Jordan, the whole brain, that's where this is all magic now, right? This is the wizard behind the fucking curtain, right?
100%.
So that has to be done proper, and that's where you guys come in, right? Where should it be parked? It's like, are there limitations? Should it be at the panel? Should you expand the area of where the panel is? Like, how does it?
Sorry, what's your question? Lighting controls.
The nerve center. Like, where do you guys park everything? Where do you guys run everything?
So we do the lighting independently of a lighting control system. On our ideal package, we're doing the design, the lights, lighting controls, and we do a lot more than that. We also do your network, surveillance, distributed audio, theater rooms.
We do TVs as well.
Oh, shades. So Lutron, everything that Lutron has to offer, they're some of the best in the world for motorized.
You guys get into all
shades
that
as well.
world as well.
We do all that.
Yeah.
Our typical package would include all of that, and it would go anywhere from $200,000 to $500,000.
But and then I know I saw yours, right? It's
we do smaller packages too. We don't just do
I said
6
the
figures.
ideal package. That's our
100%.
ideal package. That's what we've been
All the bells and
fortunately
whistles,
attracting a lot of.
Yeah.
The last few deals we closed were full packages, so we're on the right trajectory.
do electricians like you guys or dislike you guys?
I feel like old school electricians who haven't done this kind of shit before don't understand it. They give us a hard time. They don't want to deal with the headache. They want to get paid, go home. But a lot of electricians that we work with are excited. They like seeing the panel rooms. They take pride in, wow, I've never done this before. Like, let's make this panel room look good, because it's a collaborative effort between them and us, right? Like, we'll mount the panels, we'll do everything. Then at the end, they got to bring their Romex into our control panels, and I'm a Hitler. I make sure that they do it nice and clean. They got to do it the way I want it. So it all depends on the person, the personality, the character, the passion.
I mean, you want that panel and the whole lighting control and the nerve center to look proper.
Absolutely.
So then when you're servicing, when you're working on it.
We're doing a project right now, and they had on the second floor behind the laundry room, they had, it was going to be a mechanical room, but they moved the furnace. So when we got the job, he said, where are we going to put all the panels? Well, here, we have a whole room for you. I got so excited. I'm like, I'm going to deck this fucking room out.
Yeah,
we're going to put diamond board. We're going to light up the panels. We're going to make it really, really photo.
We even have a little Assembly logo that's going to illuminate.
Please tell me that you guys did do that or all that, or
it's in the process. So we're halfway through roughing.
So they haven't gotten rid of that.
So we have the whole room to ourselves. Like, to me, that's like candy.
That's
I
heaven,
get excited.
man.
I get a hard on for that.
That's heaven, man. I know, because
you
want that
Nuno's
space.
Ideal.
A lot of other times, it's scattered throughout the house or behind the furnace, one wall, the other wall. It's like, cool.
Just
we'll
depends
still
what we
make
have
it
to
look
work
nice.
with. Yeah, depends what we have to work with.
But if you could give us a whole room, if you could have enough foresight to allocate space for our systems, like, please do.
What do you guys want ideally when you guys, let's say you're doing the whole house, right? So you're catering to everything, all the home automation, the lighting, the design, and everything. Are you guys picking a trough? You picking a channel that everything kind of conveys to, and then it heads towards the actual condense?
Yeah, you have to plan. You want to minimize wire runs, right? Try to keep everything as centralized as possible to the house. You don't want some runs to be 500 feet, the other one to be 30 feet.
Yeah, you got to consider line loss, right?
Line loss is a big thing in low voltage.
When do you lose line loss? At what point do you?
Depends on the gauge of the cable. Yeah. So depending on the run, we'll calculate. We have some software that we use, and we use 12 gauge all the way up to 18 typically, depending on the product.
So I guess in the bigger homes you would have two centers then. You'd have to.
The bigger home, we'd have to break it up 100%.
You have to break it up.
Because you can't run a whole.
No.
Like when you're saying line loss, what's the minimum you guys? Or what's
it depends on the product. So if you're doing like motorized roller shades from Lutron, a 12 gauge cable will give you up to 500 feet, whereas a 16 gauge cable will give you 200 feet. So it depends on the product.
Yeah.
And for the homeowners, they need to understand 500 feet goes really fast. Doesn't matter that your family room is 25 by whatever, it's 15.
100%.
500 feet goes fast when you start going ceiling, wall,
Exactly.
under, floor, ceiling. It adds up fast.
And if you're doing like homeworks, communication cable to communicate between devices for the lighting controls, then you have a 16 gauge cable about 2,000 feet. So it depends on the application.
It depends on the loop too, how many keypads you're connecting, because you daisy chain your keypads and all that. There's a lot of things to factor in.
It's a lot of calculations. It's a lot of being proactive and really knowing.
A lot of planning.
shit.
Yeah.
Now the keypads you can use any tablet, or does it have to be specific tablets?
Oh no, you use Lutron keypads. Or like
they're actual.
switches.
Okay, all right, they're actually. But I thought you also using tablets as well.
Yes.
Yeah, we use iPads in the wall. We mud
Okay.
'em in, we use a
And you mud them in. You have the kits
Yeah, we got a
for
kit
them,
to mud 'em
right?
in, yeah.
And you can still take them out and use them, or
100%.
sit on the couch and use them, right?
exactly.
It's just crazy.
So the iPad we controls kind of everything in the home. Kind of simulates like a control for Crestron Savant, and it works really well. Clients like it. And then when people ring the doorbell, it shows up on the iPad. So we kind of place those in the kitchen, master suite, rec room, kind of wherever they want them, wherever they spend most of the time. So it's a nice feature.
Yeah, well, if you're doing, distributed audio throughout the house, you got your network ubiquity system, Rackness, whatever. You have your Lutron lighting controls. Then that one iPad mounted on the wall could basically control everything in your house. Sometimes we even
Everything
put them
that we
just for
integrate,
surveillance. You could have all your network cameras going back to that iPad. That iPad would be dedicated just to see the cameras around your house, and it's flush to the wall, mudded in, so it looks nice. If you combine that with ARIA events, mudded in tracks, mudded in iPads,
Mudded in catcher downlights.
mudded in catcher downlights, it creates a system. Like if people typically the clients who come to us, they want a certain look. They have a certain style.
You guys just gave me an idea with Halloween coming up, man. Like if I had kids, I would like pre-record like me walking around the house, but I'm not there, right? And then they would look at the tablet going, what's going on here? Like kind of paranormal activity kind of thing, shit going on. They're looking at the device going, Daddy, what's going on? You could do that. Can we do that? We could totally do that. No?
Yeah,
Good.
why not?
Sure.
Okay, I'm just saying for Halloween purposes, that's all. Maybe do the same for Christmas or whatever. Pick it
You
up.
have kids?
No. But I'm just saying I would do those kinds of things, right?
100%.
I would have fun with that kind of shit. Right?
Pair it with some catcher downlights and do some orange and
Yeah,
orange
that's
light.
exactly it. You start messing around with lighting now, and things are going off.
It's a
Then with
party.
our-
A little bit of sound here, a little sound design there,
With our
dripping water.
with our Sonats invisible speakers, we could have like some
And all of a
eerie
sudden, your
music
kid's
in the
in
background.
therapy for like 2 years now because of this shit. I was going to ask you guys correct me if I'm wrong. Speakers on the ceiling, best position for them or the worst position?
Depends on the application. Sometimes we
You really want to listen to music. You got a turntable and you got vinyl and you want to listen to music. Is that where you want your speaker?
yeah.
Really? That's the ideal spot?
I think so.
It doesn't sound like it's coming from the ceiling?
It depends. I mean, yeah, typically it does. We'll put them on the wall as well.
Yeah.
But we do a lot of invisible speakers from Sonax.
You guys like those?
We do.
Oh yeah.
They sound pretty good. Have you heard Sonax before?
I've installed them. I heard them. I listened to them. And
From what brand, if you don't mind me asking?
I think it was that brand. So not Sonos. It was trying to remember the brand. I don't remember the brand. Sorry, but obviously there's different brands. They were expensive, man. These were $2,000 each, man. They were expensive. And then drywall.
Was it
mutter. He
JBL?
fucked it up, right?
Okay, so the
No,
Sonats,
it wasn't.
the Sonats invisible speakers that we do, they actually have a reader, a device that measures the depth of the mud.
Yeah, he messed it. Like I know that this brand gave you the trim, and then it told you specifically you can't go past this, and you have to skim it a certain way, and then it has to be done. And I get it. He messed it up first. We had to redo it. So guys came in and they new trim and everything. And we did it again. I'll listen to a speaker that's an actual speaker on a floor away from a wall, and that sounds proper. This still does not match to that sound. But I get it. It's disappeared. It's not there. You don't see it. But I go again with the lighting. I don't care where the pot light is. I don't care where the fixture is. I care about where the light source is doing. Same with sound. I care about the sound. So I don't mind seeing a speaker on the floor if I want to hear music. That's just me. Maybe it's my old school me, right?
You come from the.
I mean, it's clear you're like an audiophile. I mean, some clients, they care about the sound. Some clients want sound. They don't care too much about how it sounds, and they want it to be invisible. Some designers want it invisible. They don't want to see speakers on the ceiling, right?
Yeah,
It's a minimalistic, it's ultra modern home. That's kind of where designers kind of really lean in. When we show them invisible speakers, they get excited. They're like, "Oh yeah, let's put those in," right?
You come
Just
from
depends.
film, so you appreciate light and sound more than your
why.
average person,
That's what
right?
it is, right?
If you're doing distributed audio throughout the house, to 99% of people, it's more than good enough, especially if you design it properly. If you want better than that, now you're talking about home theaters, Dolby, surround sounds. It's a different tier.
Yeah, see, the home theater would never be integrated. Well, you would. I guess your client would want that.
Well, I mean, Sonance is doing invisible speakers in theaters now, and they
Really?
yeah. So they
And they sound.
So it sounds really good. Yeah, people are happy with it.
Are they asking you for a void? Like the wall cavity has to be a certain depth, or
They'll fit in a 2x4 wall.
a 2x4 wall? Really? And there's enough for that.
Well, without the back box, yeah. They recommend using a back box. It definitely helps with the audio quality.
But your subwoofer still has to be outside somewhere.
No, subwoofer fits in the wall as well without the back box.
I don't know. I think the
Really?
IS10s and the subwoofers it's a little bit deeper.
Is it?
I think so, yeah.
Gotta double check, give or take.
That's got to be a whole new system. I haven't been. I mean, you guys have probably been to CES so many times, right? And check out shit what's going on there. So I don't know. I'm not up to date with all this stuff, right? So I know that I see what's on the market and then I yay or nay it. That's all I do, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming out. I mean, there's always something new. So keeping up with the latest
evolving.
tech is a
Impossible.
full-time job.
Is it never ending, guys?
It's never ending.
Or like,
Yeah.
is it like, are we gone to like what you guys are doing with the tablets and the whole system? That's still new to 90% of the market. Like that's still like way ahead of what they can afford right
Absolutely.
now. So,
We pride ourselves on like the next best thing. We always want to be ahead of the curve. So we're always looking for something new. Like almost every week I call Nuno. I'm like, hey, I'm looking at another brand. They do this, and this.
I want to talk about the Josh AI.
Yeah,
What's
we
that?
get to that.
what's that?
We're picking up like an AI based voice control called Josh, which is pretty cool.
It's a man's voice.
Yes, unfortunately.
You want a man's voice talking to you in your house? I don't know.
I guess. I mean, my wife might like.
Do
it.
they offer a Jess or something? Like I don't know.
I'm not too sure. I mean, we're going through the training now. I don't think you can change the voice.
So we just got access to it, and we have to buy like an opening order, and they have kits to put in our house. So we're both gonna retrofit it into our houses, and we're gonna live with it, play with it, see it. Basically, it's an Echo or a Siri or whatever on steroids. Jordan could have probably explained
That's
that a little
basically
bit
what it
better.
is.
Pretty cool. I mean, if you talk to Siri, you say, your HomeKit, you're like, turn on my lights to 20% in my kitchen.
Yeah.
You kind of have to remember what you programmed.
And
word for
Josh
word.
doesn't do that.
Josh, you just talk. And you can do multiple commands in one sentence as opposed to Apple, Siri, or HomeKit, right?
Wow.
Which is pretty cool. And Josh integrates with a lot more tech. Does it a lot better. Plus, their app is pretty cool, pretty advanced. It's
And then the one app
very
would control
user-intuitive.
everything else, right?
Yeah, the app can kind of control everything that integrates directly with Josh.
So for example, on the iPad on the
So
wall,
it'll take over your existing automation control app.
So for us peasants that are still using Alexa and Google Home or whatever, and Apple,
Well, Google Home's the best one out of the three. in
that's
my
what I was going
opinion.
to ask
Yeah.
you. The Google Home is the best one out of
In my opinion, yeah.
What's the why? Why does it make it the best one?
Like kind of like Josh. I mean, Google Home, you could say, "Hey, turn on the lights," and Google knows kind of what room you're in.
Okay.
If you have those, those Google hubs everywhere,
Yeah.
which I do. So I currently use Google Home everywhere, even though I'm an Apple guy. And I
but
love
Apple
it.
sucks, man. When they launched,
Well, listen, we've had a client say to us, I'm only going to use the big three: Apple, Google, or Amazon. If it's not made by them, I don't want it. I'm like, well,
which is
listen,
great. There's nothing wrong with it, but it is consumer grade, right?
Apple and Amazon, they're not automation companies.
Start
They're
getting
not
professional.
control
There's different
companies.
systems.
Just an off-the-shelf consumer good, right?
that's what I mean. Peasants. Yes.
And really, those products are just used to collect data, information, secretly, right? Hush, hush.
Well, I plug in and plug out Alexa every so often. Depends if I'm paranoid or whatever at the moment, right? So it's
Well,
But
the
I mean-
saying is that if you're not paying for it, then you are the product, right?
I
So
feel
I don't have that shit in my house just because I don't trust the big three names. But Josh AI, they're a small startup, whatever. I don't know how big they are.
when
but
did they get started?
I think it was about 5-6 years ago.
they're
Are they
relatively
still in
new. They're
venture
not the big
capital land
three.
or what? Is that
It's private. It's private, yeah. And they
interesting?
from what I believe, from what I remember.
And they're going to
And,
explode, or they're going to grow?
Oh, they're exploding. Yeah, they're doing really good. Yeah, it's really, really cool product.
Where are they coming from? Silicon?
I don't remember. I have to double check, but pretty cool product.
It sounds like a good.
We're still doing the training, so we're still learning, right? But I mean, we can talk about that on another show, maybe.
Once you guys master
Exactly,
it
once we
and
play with
check
it, yeah.
out and whatever, find
Exactly.
kick Josh out or keep Josh in, right?
I mean, we spec'd it on a job. We're spec'ing on a few jobs now that are going to be kind of a year or 2 years from now. But definitely looking forward to working with it.
expensive or what's
No, it's not bad at all.
Okay, but it's not consumer based like Alexa. Or
No,
Home
you
or-
can't buy it off the shelf. It's an integrator only.
Okay.
But it works. I mean, based on some of the training we've done so far, it's pretty fucking cool.
So where's the future going, guys? Like, what do you guys see outside of Josh here? What else is going to be happening? Are more and more is the market going to start to
Just put it this way: all the projects we do now, there's more low voltage cable than there is line voltage.
Really, huh?
That is the future.
For us, yeah.
Houses are going to get
preparing it.
smarter and smarter, just like a car. I drive a 2011 Audi A8. It had all the bells and whistles at the time, navigation, the works in 2010. Now you buy an entry-level Hyundai, and it has all the same
Everything.
technology and bells and whistles. So
Yeah.
the homes, I think, are going to go in the same direction.
So this
It
will
only
be pretty
makes
much
sense.
mainstream in maybe the next 15, 20
Eventually,
years.
absolutely, yeah.
I mean, I hope so. Yeah.
In the first world, in North America, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be like heated floors and
Yeah.
towel warmers, and it's just a mainstay.
Things that used to be luxury now become
I think a certain
standard.
level of automation will be in every home in 10, 15 years for sure. I don't think people are going to have, fully automated, fully voice controlled.
No.
All the bells and whistles, definitely not. It's not for everyone, but automation, a certain level of automation for sure. I mean, Google's doing a great job, right? Back to the big three again. Apple and Amazon, like I said, they're not automation companies, but Google does have Nest. So it's kind of they're getting into like the smart home tech. They're already in it. So I think they're gonna definitely push a lot more of that.
What about security, man? Like, is it hackable? Can someone, like I've always been told, always hardwire your cameras, always change your passwords every time you can, like whatever. Is it easy for thieves to get in? Like fobs, everybody's cars are being stolen without actually.
I think
a Slim Jim.
everything's hackable, 100%.
Okay.
Depends on the hacker.
100%. So cars now are getting stolen. My friend actually got his car stolen. You walk in the front door, you throw your keys on a nightstand or hang them up. Well, they have these devices that pick up the signal from the key. So when the police officer came, he says, you put these in a metal box because that'll.
What is it? A ferret cage or what is it called?
I don't know what
I
it's
don't even know
called.
what they're called.
Some okay.
But it's
It
basically
prevents
something
the
to
signal.
jam the
Yeah,
signal. Exactly. So if you could hack that, you could hack anything, really. Are you important enough that somebody's going to want to hack your system?
I don't fucking know.
I don't think
Maybe
I am.
somebody in the world out there
Want
thinks
to hack
I'm
the
important.
podcast for sure.
Yeah.
But I
if
mean,
you-
it doesn't make sense that, okay, you get home and if you put your car keys in your kitchen at the back of the house, can they still hack it? They can reach the signal, no?
It's less likely.
I don't know. I know exactly how it works, but
It's less likely because there's more different distance and barriers and obstructions.
So you put it behind your garage wall, which is 4 inches of concrete because of fire rating.
I mean, I heard they follow you home and they park nearby, and when you
Yeah,
leave your car
I've seen
and
that
you
too.
lock your door,
I know.
that's when they pick
They
up the
catch
signal.
the signal. I
Cars are
know.
getting stolen everywhere, all kinds. It's like a big deal right now.
All the guys with Slim Jims are like going, what the fuck is this supposed to do now? Eh? Nothing at all. Eh?
Slim Jims don't work anymore, I guess.
Remember the days of club? I had a friend of mine who drove a Ford Focus and he had a club on it. And every time he put on a hat.
Actually, I saw a video of a
No,
race.
this ain't a racing Ford Focus. This is a basic, bare bones,
Oh, really?
basic. And he put a club on it all the time, man. I'm like, dude, you realize I could take a hacksaw and just cut your steering wheel and just it's gone now?
Well,
I saw a video of a Range Rover getting stolen.
Number
and
one
the guy
car.
had a club on it.
Number one car on,
I was like,
man.
wow. people
I don't
still
really
use
care.
those.
I'm not concerned because my neighbor that lives in front of me, they have a Maserati SUV, brand new. It looks like a 2021 or something. And they try to steal it. They didn't get it, but they came and asked us for camera footage. And I leave my Audi A8 on this road. It's a nice car, but it's a 2010. These guys that are stealing cars, they want new models because then they're shipping them overseas, doing VIN
It's a higher
jobs.
price for it.
Yeah. So I don't really care. My cars are older.
No one wants my car anyway, so.
So,
I'm
I
not
mean,
concerned.
security-wise, I guess other than cameras and just...
We only do cameras. We don't do surveillance systems.
Yeah, we're not a security system
but you guys will
company.
set up all the cameras. It'd be integrated with the doorbell, I guess, and with
Exactly.
the command center, and so then you can see everything. You could be notified. Everyone shows up on the property. So if there's movement or whatever, if it's a raccoon or something like that, are you notified, or does it have to be a bigger animal, or like if it's
We usually program raccoons and wildlife out of kind of the.
you guys have like animal icons on the fucking system?
Okay, so that depends on the
No, you
security
don't. On the
systems
system
that
we
you
put in,
use.
yeah.
Those are part of the analytics. You would have to set the parameters in the analytics. We have access to it from one of our vendors, but we just haven't gone down that
What
path
if you get
yet.
like a little person thief or something like that? Will they like borderline animal size?
I guess I don't know.
I seen a video that there's
Possible.
an Israeli company that they have these PTZ cameras with
PTZ,
a
yeah.
built-in machine gun. You could fucking go on your phone and control it with a joystick and blast the intruders.
That's not right, man.
I've seen that, yeah, but-
that's not right.
That'd be pretty cool though. I'm not gonna lie.
Here in Canada,
Not machine guns, but a paintball gun wouldn't hurt.
yeah, that's true. You see it and all of a sudden happens. So I guess that's where that's all you can do security wise, right? You can't do
Just
anything else.
cameras, yeah.
That's all it is. And then, but the police won't really do much, even if you have camera footage.
Not really, but I mean, what are they going to do if you have someone breaks your window and the alarm goes off?
Yeah, you have nothing at all. Gone are those days, right?
Just a layer of like a potential layer of getting the thief to second guess, right? Like,
There's a saying that locks
think
only
twice.
keep honest people out. Like, it's kind of the same thing for cameras. It's like, for small stuff, it's good to know what's going on around your house. But if somebody's a thief and they want to break into your garage or whatever, they're going to do it. People don't regard the cameras. They don't care anymore.
Does lighting, if you get lighting that is just random, it would turn on, so then people...
Yeah, we do that with the Lutron, right? Like,
Okay, so you can program all of that, so you can
If it's
turn on-
integrated with like a DSC system, yeah.
So
So someone breaks a window, you could get all the lights to start flashing, the blinds going up
Yeah,
and down.
it'll open and
The
close your
shades will go
motorized
up and
shades.
down and draws attention to the home, right? That's ideally kind of your best bet.
the Home Alone feature.
Exactly.
That's what you guys do.
100%.
All right.
Minus Macaulay Culkin, of course. But yeah.
He's too busy doing rails.
We're allowed to say that? Okay. I was going to say that.
Say
What-
whatever
Thinking
you
the same
want.
thing.
Is that what you're thinking? That's why I was saying it, right? So I just say it. What else do we want to know, guys, before we get to the 12 questions, man?
I guess that's kind of it.
I got a little bit of Green Book talk, but it's all about first aid. Just have a first aid on your job site. That's all it is. You guys still have to abide by all the rules anyway.
Yeah.
You're still a trade.
Absolutely.
What is the technical name of the trade for you guys?
I don't even
Is
know.
there a technical name?
You know what? We just went through this with WSIB, and they had to create their own classification.
I'm assuming that they would have
They
to.
literally created their own, so we're paying under 1%.
Yeah, you guys are at the bottom
Because we're
because
kind
you're
of
low
weird.
risk.
We're retail. We're vendors. We also do some installation. We do class 2 low voltage electricity, but not electrical like an electrician. They created their own code for us,
I think they already had it, but yeah.
and we're not integrators. We're not
At least,
security
at
companies.
least they're doing something. So I just, first aid kits, every employer, we all know that first aid, you have to have somebody that knows it as well too on a job site. First aid station, it has to have at least one, that's it. And depending on how many floors of the job site. So the bigger the job site gets, the more you need. So everybody reaching out. So at Assmbly with no E, ASSMBLYINC, and then info at assemblyinc.com. 12 questions, gentlemen. You ready for this?
Sure.
I like that I've been giving the questions beforehand now, so you guys can actually study and come back with some responses.
I didn't study at
You
all.
didn't study at all? All right, so I like that most guests that come on the show to study. What is your favorite construction word, gentlemen?
Fuck off.
Ketra.
What is your least favorite construction word?
Slims,
Oh, fuck. I hate those. Are they still in the market?
for sure.
Really? They're still in the market?
I know some, yeah, I think a lot of people do Slims
Yes,
still, for sure.
Tight budget.
Yeah. What turns you on in construction?
Creating, doing every job
It's
better,
more-
cleaner, nicer than the last. That's what keeps me going. Improving, sharpening.
Me, yeah, I think it's tech. I love tech. I'm always want to find the next latest and greatest. Designing, I love to design.
What is some of the craziness that's coming out of CES and stuff like what? Remember that whole fad with curved TVs and
Yeah, I don't think
3D
happened to
I don't
TV
think that went very
bullshit?
far.
I'm like, I'm tired of that crap.
What happened to
man.
that?
It disappeared as fast as it arrived.
Yeah, I think so. I never bought one, but
Nobody wants to peripherally know that you're watching a flat screen. And by curving the screen, you're being told you're not watching a flat screen. And so subliminally, you're like, I'm not comfortable. It doesn't work. So when you're in the theater, every theater has a curved screen, but you're not aware of it unless you sit at a certain distance close to it. Then you're aware of the curve. But if you're sitting at the optimum seat, you're not aware of it.
100%.
But it's still a curved screen. At home, you're aware of it all the time. That's why I never liked
Exactly.
it. So that's why I didn't think it went the way of beta. That's what it went, man. What turns you off in construction, guys?
Working with subtrades that don't give a fuck or that just complicate things and do what they want to do, not what I want them to do.
yeah, I would agree. Definitely.
Dealing with difficult personalities for sure.
What is your favorite curse word? It can be used in a phrase.
Fuck off.
Yeah, fuck off's a good one, for sure.
What's your favorite vehicle to get stolen? Anything in the world. No, what's your favorite vehicle?
Me, probably a Porsche.
Which one? Any particular? I like the new Targas that are coming out. Bring it back.
Targas are cool. I like 911s. Yeah,
I'd like to see a Targa Rough if they brought back a Rough RUF.
yeah, definitely.
That'd be fucking nice with a nice whale tail on it. That'd be
Definitely.
sweet.
I like full-size luxury big boy cars. Probably an E63 AMG is my favorite car.
They just redesigned it. All the computer chips went into those cars and the S-Class.
I feel like that's a good hybrid between like a luxury.
That's where all the chips are
Vehicle.
going,
I
right?
know.
Mercedes.
It's a good luxury vehicle and it's still sporty as well. So
No, it's very nice. What's your least favorite vehicle, guys?
Honda.
honestly,
Anything Honda?
Honda in general, yeah.
I know. Gone are the Honda days of Prelude and CRX.
I used to love Hondas when I was younger, but not anymore.
everybody did.
Yeah.
I called an Uber the other day and he picked me up in a Tesla, and this thing was a piece of shit. It was
Yeah,
fucking
I hear-
plastic.
you know what?
Everything
Yeah,
was
Teslas are shit.
flimsy, and I felt like the thing was gonna fall apart. Just I don't like Teslas, and it's funny because I have money in Tesla stocks, which are taking a beating right now. But I believe in the company. I just don't like their product.
What construction sound or noise do you guys love?
I'm not really on site much, so what sound do I like? I guess my computer booting up in the morning because I'm about to get started. But that's
You know what
my
I
construction
like?
site.
I like silence. I don't like buzzing. If your lights are buzzing, they're probably gonna fail. I like
Dimmers
silence.
that buzz or dimmer. Yeah, I know. What sound or noise do you guys hate?
Multi-tool.
Oh fuck.
Yeah,
The worst sound in the
multi-tool.
world.
Sewing machine.
Yeah,
The weed whacker of tools, eh? Yeah, it's-
but it's so fucking handy, that thing.
I know, but it's
Only
just
the fine.
the fine.
Only the fine.
I bet you there's a huge decibel level between the fine and the other ones that are on the market.
100%. Well, I've had the Bosch, DeWalt.
I have
Once
a
I bought
Bosch,
the
I've had
fine-
the DeWalt, and I
Garbage.
have a fine, and I still always
Is it fine quieter?
It is quieter and
Less
easier on
vibration.
your vibration.
Yeah.
That's
I had a
$500
DeWalt
bucks.
before Nuno came into the picture.
DeWalt's like the worst sewing machine. Like it's bad, man.
They're all bad.
Yeah. What profession other than your own would you guys like to attempt one day?
I used to be a chef before lighting. I think I'd like to explore that again, maybe when I'm a little bit older. Retirement.
Nice.
Go back into cooking at some level. Maybe own a restaurant. I don't want to cook, but I'll operate it. Develop the menu, but that's about it.
I like real estate investing. I own a few properties, rental properties, and that's my passion. Aside from this company and construction, I definitely love everything real estate.
What profession would you guys not like to do?
I'd say drywall.
Yeah, that's a given for sure. I've done enough of it.
Drywall. But you
Yeah,
are
he tells me
selling
all the stories.
Light in
so-
drywall, and I guess you got to have a conversation with all the drywallers, letting them know that you have to leave a channel here, right?
So one of our employees was actually a drywall taper for many years. Learned from my father because my father was a drywall taper. He just recently retired. I used to do drywall taping since I was fucking 12 years old. So all I've ever known is construction. I've done so many different things. And here I am in technology. It was always like a gradual progression in the right direction, I feel.
But still integrating into drywall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of it. Last question. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
I forgot my lap. Oh, what God would say to me.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't even know. I guess I want him to say, hey, put some catcher in my fucking bedroom.
I just wanted to tell me, Nuno, you did a good job, buddy.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. I'm so glad you guys finally made it on the show. This has been
Thanks for
very
having us.
educational, and people need to understand that, and clients need to respect it. And I know electricians always say respect the power, but there's also a lot of connection here, man.
100%.
This is the next level, man. So everyone, check them out. Assmbly, no E, ASSMBLY Inc. And it's also info@assemblyinc.com. And on Instagram, it's @Assembly Inc. I think that's it, man. Anything else? No.
I think that's it, yeah.
It was a pleasure
Thank you,
being
man.
here.
Thanks for
Thank you
having
for
us.
having us on. I've always respected the way you've conducted yourself. I feel like
Most of the time.
when I started off on my own in like 2014, that's when I found out about you, 2015, 16. Used to say that you used to get into problems with all these sub trades because, you're not taking shit. And I was kind of that guy. And I'm like, wow, I'm not the only one who's like sick for wanting things done right. And, it's comforting, I guess.
You make a lot of friends.
Yeah. You do. You make a lot of friends who are like-minded, but you also make a lot of...
You make a lot of enemies.
You burn a
No,
lot of bridges you
I
didn't
don't
want
give a
anyways.
shit. I don't want to work with them. That's as simple as that, man. You got to find your circle of people that you want to work with.
So I've always respected that about you.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it, man. All right. Thank you. We are out of here. Thank you, Angelina. We're done.